There's this idea of the enlightened mind. Some teachers coined this enlightened mind thing, which it's like a cognitive perception, or like a shift in cognitive perception. So it's still the mind. I mean, if we take this analogy of the lake or the ocean, we have the surface, which is full of turmoil, the surface mind, so to speak, and it can get quiet, and then it beautifully reflects the depth. So this reflection of the depth is not the self, but it's still part of the same mind, the same body. So what I'm trying to say is, I guess, the deeper we sink in, is this the realization it's still the same. Pardon?
It's still the mind.
It's still the mind. No, because somehow in many minds there's this mind's separation, that the self is something outwardly or out of the mind. But according to this idea, it can't be. It's all. The enlightened mind is the self. Or is there just some error in approach, or just in thought?
Anyhow, what is that mind that you are talking about? What is the mind?
What is the mind?
A bunch of thoughts.
A bunch of, all kinds of phenomena happening.
Right. There is not really such a thing like a mind. We are talking about the mind like it was somewhere an organ or something. Something that we have to find, and then finally
Rush it. Or oh.
there is no such a thing like a mind. There's that capacity to form consciousness into thoughts. And that is beautiful. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But whatever thought there is there, it's an expression. It's not the essence.
And even that is coming from the mind.
Even that which coming what I'm talking. Well, then we can stop talking, then fine, we can just keep quiet.
Yeah, I'm not trying to challenge you, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm totally with you on that. I'm just trying to figure it out, Maybe it's just the way of
Right. And
the
that
language of speaking.
that you can go on forever and ever,
Yeah.
trying to figure out the truth. It's just something that you cannot possibly figure out. And we have the habit that we want to understand. And then when we understand, then we feel on top of it, in control and secure. It's a totally false security, because all understanding is within manifestation. And then somehow we want to understand and grasp reality which is prior to that. And it just simply doesn't work. We can try and try and try to figure out. No teaching is ever really defining truth. No teacher has ever told the truth. All we can do is point to it. And of course, there we start on the level of the mind, catch the attention and point in the direction. But then at the end, all we can do is to shut up and peace. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that capacity to form consciousness into thoughts. It's a tool. It's a tool to express that beauty of the self. But unfortunately, instead of using it as a tool where it is appropriate and then put it aside, it has become such a habit that it becomes a compulsion to think all the time. From the moment one wakes up till one goes to sleep, ramba, 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 ramba. And with that thinking all the time, we are keeping our fake reality intact. If we stop thinking, then it starts to crumble. All that we are. And then enlightened mind, that's a concept. I mean, if you are at peace and what you are expressing comes out of that peace, if you want, you can call it an enlightened mind. But it's not the mind. There is no mind. There is not such a thing like a mind. When there are thoughts, we call it mind. When there are no thoughts, where is the mind? There is no mind.
This just came from this notion, if we come back to this analogy with the lake or the ocean, that at times the surface mind can be very, very quiet,
Right.
absolutely serene.
Right.
And then it just mirrors beautifully
Yes.
the depth and the peace. And out of that, even blissful energies and all kinds of things can arise. So,
Right. They talk about a sattvic mind. Like
yes.
you're doing your practice and slowly your mind is getting quieter and more sattvic and it's reflecting more of that inner
That's
beauty.
what I'm pointing to, yes.
It's still, right,
It's
it's still a sattvic mind.
Yes.
That means it's still, the attention is still hooked on that. But somehow that's what we can do.
That's all we
You cannot, by an act of will, shift your attention from the manifestation to that which is prior. But what you can do is make yourself available. And you making yourself available by becoming more conscious. As long as we are going half asleep through our life and just thinking away the whole day long, brum, 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 then there is like such a barrier there that's it's very unlikely to happen that somehow your attention can shift to that which is prior to that manifestation. But if you learn to keep quiet, then as you say, it's reflecting something, you get at least a notion, a taste. And that's all we can do, but that much somehow we have to do, to make ourselves available. To stop, we cannot really do something directly, but we can do a lot to prevent it. And that's what everybody is doing all the time. By being always so concerned about our little story, what has happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow, what they are thinking and talking about me all the time, and what we are busy with all the time creates like such a layer, such a barrier, that very little of that inner beauty can come out. So we have to learn to see what we are doing all the time and learn not to do that anymore. That much we can do. That's making yourself available. But that's all you can do. You cannot, by an act of will, decide somehow now I concentrate and shift over. So there's nothing wrong making yourself more peaceful, becoming more aware. What kind of nonsense that goes on all the time in the mind? What we are thinking all the time. People have most of the time no idea. If you stop somebody on the road and tell them, now for 5 minutes, tell me every thought that goes through your mind, it's just madness. You're supposed to be the rational species, but there is not much rational going on in our heads. It's like, very rarely it's really rationally putting one thought after another. It goes, crazy. And most of the time we have not a clue that we are doing that all the time. And the job is to take the trouble to have a good, honest look at it and see what we are doing, and then learn not to do that all the time. That's how you make yourself available.